So I'm in a thicket-wide plot south of Steytlerville in the Steytlerville Flats, which is some area that we're not quite sure as to whether, like, what was the density of thicket on these areas, the succulent thicket. There, Papia capensis. Over there I have found a few small, very stunted spectrum on the outside, on the other side of the fence on this side. But I find this plot absolutely fascinating. Firstly, the farmer has done a fantastic job in terms of keeping the fences in very, very good condition. This is probably the best conditioned fence that I've come across for the thicket-wide plots thus far. But the plants, even though there's really high survival rate, they're planted in rows. Remember, look at them, so weird. When I saw these first, I was like, it's got to be herbivory. There's got to be tons of herbivory going on. And then, like, herbivory would explain why something that's, this plant that's in the Lyceum is doing really well. Well, relatively well. This plant is more than 10 years old, so it's actually not doing fantastically well, but it's certainly doing better than its neighbor over there. And you can just see these upright stems and very little. So there's some skirting that's going on. But the interesting thing is, very regularly, okay, so the branches fall over. So that could be drought. It could also be frost. And I think that this is a frosted, I think that these plants are frosted. And that this is what happens when you get really hectic frost events, that you get, like, the tops breaking off in their seal. These tops break off in their seal, and fairly regularly. So normally, if it's frost, you can then find the dead branches. So this is the difficulty: is it frost or drought? Because, okay, so here's the dead branch. That's the dead branch there. So did the drought get that, or did the frost get that? And yeah, so there are a lot of branches around here. Or there's another one there. There's another one there. Here's another one over here. So that's the original. So this probably was the original truncheon, and it's growing like this. I really struggle to think that this is herbivory for two reasons. One is the fence is in very, very good condition, and secondly, there are these stems lying around, and that usually the herbivores eat that. And there also isn't that much dung. So, okay, so I've just found some dung there. But, if say, for example, goats were being put into this camp, I'd expect to see a lot more dung. Okay, there's another dung pile there, but that looks like kudu to me. Doesn't look like goat. And those are the two dung piles, and they're pretty old. I'd expect, if animals were spending a lot of time here munching away, that there'd be a lot more dung piles. I mean, I'm not seeing any. I've taken now another 10 steps. You can see those branches trying to hang in there. This plot really is a bit of a conundrum. I suspect that the soils are really poor for spectrum growth. It could be very highly calcitic. I forgot my 10% hydrochloric acid, so I can't do a quick fizz test to see how alkaline the soils are. See, look here. So you see how this plant is growing just to the edges of that Lyceum. Oh, sorry, that's an asparagus. There's a Lyceum in the background, but there's this Lyceum. And so, that's protection from frost, but also from herbivory. So it's really tough to tell what's actually happening here. This plant looks a bit happier there, that one not over there. When I was first coming here, I was like, this doesn't look like thicket at all. But there is small spectrum individuals on the outside. There's one over there. I found another one further along there. So they are there, There's Bossia oleoides. Look how happy this papia is. I think this papia is probably a very good indicator of the browse that might be going on here. So if we had low level browsing, we wouldn't have the skirt. You see there's a papia in the background there. You can almost see how it's been cropped at the base. This has got a beautiful skirt going on. I think this is actually a good indicator. But you see how it's got this little V at the top going all the way around it. And that's kind of all the way around. And that's the kudu browse line. So the kudus can't get above there. And I think the kudus are in that section, and they love, that's the section that they browse at. So I think the browsing has been some kudu browsing, certainly aiming at that tree, and you can see why. It's like delicious in comparison to some of the other ones. But kudu don't necessarily like browsing below 1/2 meter, so that's what that's spreading out. It's really, you can show you the browse pressure. That's got no skirt on it. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in there. There's no skirt underneath there. This is what we call, thicket is meant to, trees are meant to be more like shrubs rather than bonsaied trees or manicured trees. Anyway, I'm going to have to think about this plot a lot more. I'm going to need to look at the soil chemistry was, there were soil plots and soil pits dug. So we've got soil chemistry, so we can look at the soil chemistry. So it could be a combination of soil, frost, maybe some light herbivory. Certainly would be the lightest herbivory, just given that only kudu can access it. And the kudu don't like browsing below 1/2 meter. Really, it's out of their comfort zone. So, they would be chopping it off at the top. That's what we regularly see with them. So to see everything taken all the way down to the bottom, not see, there's definitely no dakin here. There's some more kudu dung there. But that's hardly anything. Remember, this is super dry out here. Dung's going to stick around for a very long time. Yeah, wowzers. Let's just do some money shots of the landscape. So this is the south of Steytlerville. At the moment, this is kind of making me think that if there was thicket here, and actually I think it would have been really, really slow growing because of the soil and the frost. Remember, once the trees get large enough, they can actually start shielding each other from the frost, and they can withstand frost to a degree. It's like mild frost events they can withstand. But if it's incredibly heavy recurrent frost, then thicket will be replaced by neighbouring. Anyway, just thought I'd share with you the observations from this thicket-wide plot. Alice out.